was the original school you went to?
I went to the old school in Inglewood, up behind where the new one is. It's an old wooden church. All old wood boards and tin roof on it, if I remember rightly. And they pulled that down. We were there while they were building the new one.
Yeah.
Then I went in the new school then.
About 1926 or something was built, wasn't it?
Well, I reckon it would be, yeah.
Something like that. And what year did you go to? You would have left when you were about 14?
I left when I was about 14, I reckon. That'd be, what, 1930 it'd be? Yeah, Far Lap's time we were going to school.
Yeah.
I heard Far Lap's run the race on the wireless, first wireless in Inglewood. The first time they broadcast the Melbourne Cup. Back at about 1930.
And where was that, at home?
Up at Nixon's motor shop.
So everyone went up there to listen to it today?
All my kids come home from school, the whole lot of us.
Right.
That's where we heard the race.
Right. So they were the only people in town that had a
That's
radio?
the first one to come in Inglewood. Nixon's had it. Songbird Carlson, like it might have been. That name.
That's a brand.
A brand, yeah.
And they would have been pretty expensive, I suppose, were they?
Oh, well, marvellous thing to us, like this loudspeaker after cat whiskers, we had little earphones, you know, like you got on. The old cat whisker, they call that.
Yeah.
That's by looking for the crystal. Well, the first job, in a way, I went down there and we built Billy Vennon's house.
Oh, yeah.
Dad got me a job in the pub and he said, one of the young lads was an apprentice bricklayer. And that was me. And when I found out he was a plonk fiend, when I went around to give him the work, he lay on his back with a bottle of flagon, not flagons then time, was them quart bottles of wine, and we got him going to finish, and I dug all the channels all around that house down there at Billy Venner's, that nice home down there, like put the concrete, the bricks on it, dug all that. I could dig a shaft, you see, when I was a kid.
Right.
I could dig all these mines around here.
Right.
I was a good worker. And then he decided to learn me how to lay bricks. Well, he showed me how to do the bricks, and when I went to get him, he said, you can go and lay a couple more. So I went and laid some more bricks for him, swing line, it's all straight going. I'd make a good job of it too. Oh, I was interested in that job.
Right.
And then when it come to chimneys, well, I had to go up and do all the chimney work, and he couldn't get off the ground. Too much wine in him. that job. Then I got a job down at the pub, groom, then milking 2 cows, and down at Bob Curdane's at Empire State Hotel, and that was a good job, 10 bob a week in me tucker. And then from then on, what happened then? Oh, then I got a job on the sanitary cart, next door Bowman's there, doing all Inglewood and Bridgewater, 2 horses and a wagon, about 30 pans. That was a good clean job. And then
How old were you when you were doing that?
Oh, I'd be 16, I suppose.
No.
And
They
then,
would have been pretty heavy, those shit car things, wouldn't they?
oh yeah, when you fill them right up. We used to dump them, fill them right up. And then we went over to Elmore. And then
With the Bowmans.
Bowman's, yeah. And then,
doing the same job.
Yeah, and then we went to Seymour. Then we got the contract to Seymour camp. Seymour had militia camp over there, and we done all the towns, about 700 pans there.
Be a pretty big job, wouldn't it?
Well, big job. And then while we were there, war broke out. Of course, Puckapanna got built. They had no pads, with 1,600 pans a day.
Right.
We had 6 trucks. The
Where'd you take it all?
Huh?
Where'd you take all the...
Oh, we took it
all the
out to a depot. Yeah, the funny part of this was near the race course at Seymour. That was a depot.
Right.
We filled the depot up in about a fortnight. And then we had far wool to do in the Gambie Road, and it was nearly all urinal.
Right.
Everybody peed in the pan,
Right.
Proper turn that clean place, the army, Nobody peeing on the ground or anything. And then I took it up in the truck while Billy drove it, and chuck all the pans out on the road, the water. Just chuck them out like a bucket, get rid of this urinal, because it'll be getting flooded out. There's nowhere to put it. It's like down getting the river,
Right.
1,600 a day. And it's all Victoria bitter and all that, frothing up, I get down there drink it. And then that's why I joined the army.
Oh, you got sick of that, so you thought you might as well
Yeah,
join the
well,
army.
they were kicking the football there one morning, and I got over and kicked it about 90 yards, this ball, after lobbing the pan. The lobbing the pan, I got it out. And the man and drop kicked it. And up come the officer, says, "Come here, you." He said, "We can do with a bloke like you for the fatigue job, like the sanitary part in the army." That's why I joined the army then. Joined the sighted line.
You went in as an expert.
An expert before you even joined up. So then anyhow we signed our names, and I think it was the next day we had to go down to Royal Park. So I went down to Royal Park and chucked my pair of boots and a shirt and a coat and get on your way. Signed the oath and I'm in the army. I came back to the Bowman's that night to start work. I said, there's no work, we're in the army now. He said, you've got to put a reference in, like a week's notice or something.
Right.
No more week's notices. That was the end of that story. They wouldn't know here. No, they wouldn't know. No, I don't think I knew for months after I was in the army. So they come home, I don't think. No, they wouldn't know. No ringing up business. No phone job.
That letter you showed us from St Kilda, the football,
Yeah.
that would have been prior to that.
At the end of that year, when we were going down, I used to go down every Tuesday and Thursday from Seymour with Harry Hollingshead, and he'd bring me back.
They're going for training.
For training, he'd go to Carlton. He'd play with Carlton. It was Carlton and Ruckman. And then sometimes he'd drive me down to St Kilda. I was down to St Kilda that time, like down in the Oval, down.
Yeah.
And then other times I might run down and run back, about 3 miles. Always in good nick, Carting his pants and running around all the time. There's nothing. In fact, I couldn't stand the tram. It was too slow. I'd rather run down.
So did you play for St Kilda itself, the actual...
No, mostly practice games. The next year we would have been, but we had to join the army.
Right.
So that back at the career.
So you played football for Seymour?
Seymour, yeah. Played Seymour. Best and first for Seymour. And that's where they come up and got me to go down. Well, I had a very short career for football. I don't think I played 50 games of football in my life, I don't think. I'd mostly in the army.
Right.
See, when I was in Inglewood here, I was too young to play. You had to be 18. When I was only 16, and then the first part of games I played probably over in Elmore.
Right.
Then I broke my finger the first game over at Heathcote, and then I played 1 year with Seymour. Well, now that's about the end of the story of it. Royal Park in Melbourne, near the zoo there. And there was 4 of us in the tent, and we had a bloke at a pub. He was with us, Clive something, I can't think of his name at the moment, out at Richmond. And he took us out to meet his mother and father at the pub, and he said, meet this bee bugger, he says. He won't go to bed. He says he wanted me up all bloody night. I used to go to work at 12 o'clock at night. I couldn't sleep with all this cape. And up playing footy in the morning and PT instructors going, and oh, I was in the prime of my life. I reckon it was a marvellous thing. Showers and getting clean, none of this shitty smell about me. And oh, Christ, after carrying pans all your life, Yeah, and then we went up to Benalla.
Bonavilla or something, is it?
Benalla this time, only rookies yet. We were there for about 3 or 4 months. That was a good camp. And RCs, we used to play out, all the RCs one played, Church of England the other one, and nearly all RC blokes there. Right. Our mob. And we march up to church, and they take 2 out for dinner every Sunday. 2 go to this house, 2 to this house, 2 to this house. There's only about 50 of us there. All invited out for dinner, having the beer up and pianos playing and all this sort of thing. It was the best camp we were in, you see. Then we went to Bungilla then. Right. That was when we joined, that was the 29th Battalion. We were a battalion then.
So they put you in sort of the field regiment, that day to start with?
More or less, yeah. It's a brigade, you see. Yeah. 26th Brigade. Well, they were finished up with the 29th Battalion, the 22nd Battalion, 2nd, 30th Battalion, 2nd, 18th, they were all brigades then. Right. Then you got into the division, then, 8th Division, Right. Then we went to Bathurst after that.
Yeah, I remember Mum saying you'd been to Bathurst.
Yeah, Bathurst the next one. That was went there over to Blaney.
Up there, wasn't it?
Yeah, down Blaney's the coldest place in New South Wales, I think. The bottom of the Blue Mountains, Right. And that was a coal camp there, from Bongilla to there, Right. I went into Bathurst a few times on leave. But we're busy with bivouacking, and I enjoyed the army because it was that sort of thing I liked, walking and...
They trained you pretty hard, wouldn't they?
Yeah, it didn't matter. The more they trained, the better I got, Jumping over the moon. I'd be marching all night and playing football in the afternoon. Other blokes all dressed up and playing as the RAP. And then went to the doctor all the time I was in the army.
Did they do much night training?
Yeah, all nights. A lot of night training. Oh, yeah. Or we'd lose the officers for dead, leave the officers for dead, I used to.
Right.
I used to pack and show them, don't get lost out there, mate. I said, I'll pick you up. He's fighting in the dark.
What company were you in? B company?
A company.
Oh, that book's wrong then.
Yeah.
The book's got you being as B.
Yeah, they got the wrong company in the book.
Yeah.
They got B company, haven't they, or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm A company, original A company.
And who was the captain of that company?
Summers, Captain Summers.
Right.
Mark Calvert was my officer. He come from Tasmania, a place called
And
Brighton.
The lieutenant colonel was who? Robinson.
Colonel Robinson. I met his brother down there. I had a good yard with his brother. He's like his brother too,
Right.
Bobby. Yeah. I represent my battalion in athletics, you know. Like I won the hop, step and jump out of about thousands of blokes. I won the hop, step and jump. Second in the long jump. I won the shot put. I was very strong that arm for carting pans all my life, you know. That arm was very powerful. And in every game the battalion had, I was in it.
Right.
Didn't matter damn what it was. Tug of war, anything at all. I represented every part of it.
Was that at Bathurst? They had the...
Bathurst, that all went, yeah, Bathurst. Mostly it's Bathurst. And then we got in amongst the battalions, yeah, the other mob. New South Wales come into it. And, thousands, we're up against thousands then, but we're all good playing, you know. And then I played in the battalion football team, but there was nobody to play. Like you're playing against,
Yeah, 'cause when
you know what I mean? They're all rugby playing, we was Victorian rule. So we're playing ourselves. Play amongst ourselves then. The only Dinky Die game was the game of basketball, because both played the same game.
Right.
That was a girls' game. We had a march in Melbourne before we went overseas. We had a final leave and we came back and marched all through Melbourne, stopped at Botanical Gardens. There'll be about 3,000 or 4,000 of us.
Was that do you remember that day well?
Oh, hell yeah, yeah.
Was that the day, so the 8th Division, basically all those troops, was it? At that stage?
And that was all 29th Battalion.
Right.
I did the 29th Battalion, Victorian unit.
Was that saluting and all that sort of caper?
No, we only more or less, more or less just a march. I marched in threes, I think we did. I'll go for half an hour more, you know. Something like Anzac Day.
Okay.
Similar thing to Anzac Day it was, yeah. We come from Bathurst right down to Port Melbourne and got on the Marnix, a Dutch ship.
Oh, yeah.
Marnix and Joanne. The Joanne was the other one, and we won the Marnix. About what boat we'd have. I never seen a ship in my life till we got down there. When we cut the wharf, I was looking up with this bloody ship up here, you know. What in the bloody hell, Christ, and I was like Englewood Town Hall, worse than this. And when they got on, it was getting only about as high as your motor car when we finished with it. After all these tanks and carriage went on it, and the troops and thousands went on it.
Did it make you sick when you went on it? Were you seasick?
No, never had no time to get seasick. Too much looking around, you know.
Right.
Engine rooms and all this, and other blokes were spewing, and oh Christ.
Did that go via Perth?
Yeah, went to Perth, yeah.
Did you get off at Fremantle?
I got off at Fremantle. I had about an hour or something. We had to be all back at a certain time
Yeah.
on this boat, because we could leave sailing in the morning or something. And I went out and see my auntie. Auntie Kat's given me the address out at Fremantle, some street there. And I went around and I got a taxi or something. And she was in bed, cook or something. And she didn't know who the hell I was. I think she think I went to rob the place. And she wasn't interested in it. And that's all I can remember. That was all about that part of it.
Right.
She hardly knew me. I said, you know my father, Mick, your brother or something. And, you know, they had no marbles, put it that way. I enjoyed that trip. They had a gun behind the back of that boat, like about an 18-inch or 16-inch gun. And I had to get on the back of it. There was a seat there, something like an AK gun. I had to get on this thing, and there's the highest part of the boat, up and down like this. I had to reckon the marvellous turn out, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody else is spewing. I reckon there's no spewing in me at all.
Was that,
I was a sailor already. I got on the boat, like a sailor, born sailor.
So that was the ship you went on to
Singapore, Malaya, yeah,
Right.
up to Singapore.
So there's already some Australians there, wasn't there? When
Yeah,
you
there
got
was
there?
18th and 19th Battalion was over there, over in a place called Mersing. Yeah, they were there before us. Well, I was there about 6 months before the war.
Right. But when you
And-
got there, they weren't actually at war with the Japs, were they?
No, they didn't have been bombed. No, there weren't no war.
Was
No.
everyone, were you happy to go there, or
No, we thought we were going to the Middle East.
yeah?
I think we were surprised to stop there. And I think our war, it wasn't built for jungle fighting. We never had 303s are no good for jungle fighting. You fire about 2 mile away, you know, and you only fire from either there, you know, only one little Shanghai. So it was long stuff. And they had proper equipment, the Japs. And we never come good till we got them bloody Ven gun, what them gun, what them called?
Owen gun.
Owen guns, that's what made the Australians.
Right.
Small ammunition and everything. And it was down at Katong was where we first went there, and it was a big school. That's when we first got there. We were there for about 2 or 3 months. And then we moved up to Sagama to another big camp. I think it was Indians been in it before.
Right.
It was all flashing on the roofs and, you know, all
Right.
jungle sort of houses, you know, camps, you know.
And what would your day consist of during that period? Would you be still training or?
Yeah, still all with we used to jam up on top of the jungle. These peppercorn trees. You couldn't walk on the ground. We got there and cut a track with prangs, you know. And you couldn't walk on the ground. You're walking up on top of the jungle with the compass bearing. We might have to go up, say, out to King Gow from here, on top of the jungle, on top of the no roads, no nothing, you know.
Right.
But that was no good. You couldn't do any fighting. You was up top, you know, and you couldn't fall down. Something like Tarzan. You see Tarzan pictures. I used to get on these big stalks and swing and, I don't know, my chest was sticking out that far and nearly knock everything over. I used to play basketball. That's why I said I learned to play this basketball. We used to play with Chinese girls. They were good players too.
Right.
And that's why I had these 2 girls. I used to go with one of the girls. She's a nice girl too. They're all spoke good English, you know, educated girls.
Right.
You know. And the mother had a den. She had a gambling den, opium and all them sort of things, you know.
Right.
And they had all film stars around the rooms, and Gary Cooper and Tom Mix and all the film stars stopped there at Singapore. Used to go to this bloody gambling place. That's
Right.
she had all their photos there.
What was that famous street in Singapore?
Oh, that was the Lavender Street.
Lavender Street,
Lavender Street, you know.
Was that where that place was? Was it in Lavender Street?
No, we weren't in there. That was a Brussels Street, you
Yeah.
know.
Probably.
We don't know what happened to them. I often thought after, and even now, different days, I wonder what happened to them girls, you know. Went through my mind where they cut their heads off. I don't know if they cut their heads off. They might have used them as bottles or something. God knows what they'd do with them, you know. There's them sort of girls, you know. Very dressy girls, you know. Very nice looking chows, you know. A bit of evasion in them. When you get that evasion in it swings out a bit, you know.
Yeah.
But the old woman was very chow, you know.
Was the mother nice to you?
Oh, yes, but you couldn't speak English.
No.
No, the girls called, yeah, concentrate. No. I didn't see the old man around anywhere. I don't know what sort of bloke he'd be. He might have been a rickshaw puller.
So how long were you in that place?
Oh, well, see, I'd say about 6 months from when we got there, the war started.
Okay.
So I was supposed to be up there a couple of months.
Ah.
I won a rickshaw race one time. We had 6 We took the old chow, we'll give him a couple of bob, I think. Anyhow, I won this race up this Bukit-Timah Road. It was a big wide road, Bukit-Timah. You go there, all hell of a ride. It's like these big freeways in Melbourne, you know. All the traffic out of Singapore. Well, I reckon I rode this rickshaw from here to that front gate without touching the ground.
Right.
Like balancing on the shafts.
Right.
Beautiful to ride and drive, you know. Like a gig they are. You've seen them, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I won that race.
It sounded like you had a bit of fun there anyway.
Oh, Christ, yeah, we're full of life.
No.
I was in my prime. Well, then, Muir, that's where the big battle was. We went, our battalion and our company, A Company, went to a place called Muir.
Yeah.
That's where all the Japs were.
So
Well,
the Japs-
yeah, the Indians were there. Indians and Gurkhas, and they were all there before us.
Yeah.
Way up where they landed at Kota Baru, that might have been.
Yeah.
One of them places. And we were supposed to meet them halfway down, you know, down on this. Well, they were coming down the road in thousands, but half of them were chows, and it's over the chows in front all the time. The chows in the villages, and they weren't even in the war, you know. There was that many people, you don't know who was coming down and who wasn't coming down.
Right.
Besides the Japs, but Japs filtered through the jungle.
Right.
They kept filtering, getting behind you all the time, you know.
Right. There was about
And-
12,000 of them, wasn't it? The Japs
Oh, well,
themselves.
the Japs?
Right.
Oh, it might have been 100,000 of them. You
Right.
wouldn't know how many was
Right.
there, you know. You didn't know. And filter through Singapore all the time was going on, you know. And we didn't know chows from Japanese anyhow. Very much alike, you know.
Right.
And a lot of them had no guns and all this. But just to stop you. Now, half the time I often thought that the Japs, half of them are Lingman blokes, you know, the front line. Pushed them in front all the time, you know. Matter of buckets, they lost 500,000 of them. They've got their own soldiers all the time, which we couldn't afford that.
And Moora Road, was that the first time the 2nd 29th was actually in action, was it?
That's the first time I was one of the first to win. I was about the second bloke to get wounded, I'd say. And that was a Bren gun carrier. There's no road, you see. You're in the jungle. There's nowhere to move. You can't. Bren gun carriers are no good. You can't move, and it's like opening this bit of rubbish in there. How can you move? You can't do nothing. And they must have knocked the track off one of them, and another one come in to tow it away. And I went over there to unhook this bloody thing to take it out of the bloody road because there's an ambulance behind it, and there's a roadblock more or less. See, they got a tank and blew the tracks off it. And I can hook it on and so they could tow it out of the road so they can get about. You couldn't move, you got no idea what it's like, you know. And that's why I got shot on the way back. The cut across, it should have gone out there at all. It wasn't my job to go out there anyhow. I went over there and hook it so they could take it away, you know. And they hit me in the leg there with machine guns. But they had all this equipment on me and 2 hand grenades and a bandolier of bullets and how I didn't hit them hand grenades and never hit me in the guts or anywhere.
Your back got shot off or something, didn't it? Did your back get shot off your back?
Bloody never all cut off. You can see all frayed out, you know, all the bullets were skidding through it. And never only hit old child in the back of the neck or something, mate, with me.
Right.
But only hit me in the leg there. And then stiffened it because they cut all the muscles. And I got over and the Padway was there. They just started to go into action then.
Right.
See, the first one, I was lucky to get away, I was. That's the only thing that saved my life, of course.
Right. Now, what was the Padway's name?
Padway McNeil. And then, lucky, an ambulance pulled up with a Gurkha and 2 Panjabs.
Right.
See, they were 4 of us, they're bringing them back, you see. After all this roadblock, you got to get the ambulance through this. Anyhow, there's room for me in the bottom. 2 on top, the Panjab, the little Gurkhas alongside, the 2 Panjabs up on top, and I'm on this other corner, there's 4 all together. And away we went up to this dressing station. And when I'm in this, the bloody blood's dropping off this Panjab on top of me, coming down all over the top of me, you know. And he must be shot in the bloody neck or the back somewhere, and it's half dead, I think he was. And we pulled up at this dressing station, and they said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I don't know, the ambulance bloke brought us here." He said, "You're going to go to your own battalion." I said, "There's a war on." "What war?" I said, "There's bloody down in Mew." I said, "Everybody's getting cut up down there. You didn't worry about what bloody..." Oh, I was wild with that bugger. I thought it was a terrible bloody thing, you know. I didn't tell him, I said, "Florence Nightingale's not here, sure as the Christ." I said, "Fancy getting to the mouth for going to get this leg stitched up or whatever's wrong with it."
Could you, were you able to walk? Like, did you?
Well, I was stiff-legged around, like if you got walking around half stiff, and they sewed it up after this place after a while. But they said, "You're going to go to your own battalion." Well, I said, "Of all the training we've done, nobody ever told us where we're supposed to go if we got shot." Like, we never learned them things. Yeah. They're supposed to know all this, I thought. So I was there, and they come and took me up at the 13th AGH. And it was only me and another bloke. There's 3 of us in there. Right. A great big hospital. There's only 3 of us. We were the first buggers to get shot and wounded.
That was a public hospital, was it?
Eh?
It was a public hospital, that one.
That's the big one, the 13 HBH. That was the big hospital.
And whereabouts was that?
Well, I think it'd be in Johor, I'd say, in about that area somewhere. Not in Singapore. Oh, okay. And then I was there for about 3 or 4 days in this place, and they took all the stitches out and re-stitched it and done it up in case Dan Green got into something. I went down to my own dressing station, my own 29th proper dressing station. That was down where we first lobbed off the boat into this school. Right. That's where the hospital was, our hospital. And while I was in that, they blew all the bloody roof off the top of me, and I had bloody 3-ply or masonite or whatever the hell was all hanging on top of me bed there. Mostly that other stuff on the walls, what do you call it, cement sheet at that time. And they gutted what they call, the name of them bombs, daisy cutters. Right. Cut all the top of the roof off. Now, then they got killed in the hospital while I was there, and I thought, "Oh, I'm off out of this." And they come up, "Does anybody walking patients want to go back up to the front line?" I thought, "I think they bloody better off up in the front line as getting bloody well bombed." And I could limp them around the way I went. They give me a gun the way I went. I got a ride into Singapore, and then from Singapore up into Johor Bahru, and I'm up there asking people, where's the 29th Battalion? Nobody seemed to know anything. And at last I found them. I could hear some guns going off and dive bombing and aeroplanes, because they had all aeroplanes that was telling me where to go. They was spraying them all with the aircraft, you know. We never had no aeroplanes, you know. You got no idea what a bug of a war it was.
So
And
you were on your own when you were looking for the
looking for my own, yeah, find my
How
own
long was that
battalion.
before the actual fall of Singapore?
There's only 2 days, and 2 days after that, the war, the Singapore fell apparently after that. We didn't know for about a couple of days it fell.
So you were still fighting, were you, at that stage?
They were at that mob, yeah, they all found them, a few Japs. I fired a couple of shots about 100 mile away or something. The jungle's getting buggered then, they're getting down towards Johor Bahru, you know.
Yeah.
And Singapore's already fell then. Singapore fell.
So the second 29th was still all together though when Singapore fell, wasn't it?
Oh, I think they're all scattered all over the place, you know. I never seen anybody since then. I never seen anybody out, that's the trouble. We marched out to Changi, they got us all together, some of us, and we walked, I suppose about 200, 300 of us walked out to Changi barracks. And then, of course, the stragglers were coming, and the stragglers and another more stragglers, and more, you know, more and more, and half of them I think died in the bloody jungle, half of them, I think. Half of them wouldn't know what's going on, you know.
What did you think of the surrendering? What was the
No, we didn't know what.
Blokes want to surrender or not?
Oh, I don't know, I think everybody seemed to have had bloody enough of it, I think. Half of them dive bombed and bloody well sprayed with bullets, and the plane done all the damage, you know, they sprayed us with. Up there, you see, that's where you want to be, up there where you can see. You can't do nothing on the ground. The jungle is. And you could see where the enemy could tell where we were, because they was dive bombing us and all that, you know.
Right.
And that's when we were up at Changi. I was only there about a week, and I got that job out into Singapore.
Right.
That's the start of the POW job.
So when you arrived at Changi, and what did you think of Changi?
Well, there was thousands there, of course, but big buildings there. There's 6 stories high, I think there might have been. There might have been a dozen of these big buildings, big as a town hall, I suppose, and about, I suppose it'd be 3 or 4 stories high, I forget now. And we all lived in them, bottom floor, top thing, you know, and a lot on the top of the stories, like a big aircraft carrier. Yeah, that was, no tucker, you get to the starting point then, you know. That's why I was glad to get into Singapore.
So they asked for volunteers.
Volunteers, oh well, no ask, they just cut you off, just line it up. There's no Japs took over there, no buggies out saying I don't want to go and you don't want to go. You just cut you off, you know.
There was 150 of you that
Went to Singapore, yeah. And we
what
done
did
all,
you do in Singapore?
yeah. And that's where we, in the NAFA there, that's why I give the Jap the bloody, what do you call them again? The damn laxettes.
Yeah.
So I put the sardines in under my hat, the tins of sardines, little sardines, and they couldn't read English, and I give him the bottles, and he wanted to stack everything with what they wanted, and what's no good, throw away, you know, because after all the chow done all the looting, there was not much left, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody found a bottle of whiskey or something there or something, but that was all right the first 6 months. Like they were winning the war, and they let you have a bit of a feed or something, you know. It wasn't too bad then.
So what, you were working during the day in the bombed out Singapore?
Cleaning up after dead bodies and all that, you know, laying around after all the bombing raids, and cleaning up all the buildings and bricks laying about here. Not much bricks, all chow turnout, you know. They bombed all the chow areas, you know.
Right.
And that went on for about 6 months. And then went over to Blackamatty then. That's when the work started. Then I was on Maru boats all the time, all Marus, barges. Loading
ammo and stuff, was it?
ammo and bombers and 50-pounders, kilos, 1,000 kilos.
Right.
And stacking it all in. We dug out with the dig-outs and put all this in, dug half the mount out and stack it all in there. And this went on for 7 to 3.5 years all this on top.
How long was your work day?
Oh, well, for boats, well, some nights you might go 2 or 3 days sometimes without getting a spell. You might just come home and go away again, you know. Never had time to lay down. And loading, and then we had chows working with us, and
You'd get a spell, I suppose, if there's no boats there.
no, loading all these barges up. Never finished. Oh, Christ, no, never finished, no. Never, no end, you know. Didn't know what day it was.
So they're mainly Australians there, though, like you're saying, the Queensland blokes and you.
Well, we used to give them a hand, but mostly Chinese and Malayans, they all are working on these boats. They want it done in 5 minutes, you know.
Right.
No such thing as it's speedo all the time, you know.
Right.
And now and again we might be loading pineapple or something up and smash a bloody box up, drop it or something, and I used to punch a hole in it and suck all the juice out and put the tin upside down in it, you know, so you can get your bloody head cut off if you got caught all this game.
Right.
You run a hell of a bloody risk, you know.
Who were the Japanese in charge of that? Were they Japanese?
Yeah, all Japs, carrying the sword around with them all the time in the scabbard.
Was
And they give you
Koreans there?
Huh?
Was there Koreans as well or not?
Oh, they were there on the guards on the gates on the wharf. They all on gates and guards and
Right.
that. You know, they're the worst of lot. You couldn't filter nothing.
What about the Australian officers? Did they work?
No, they never done much work. They didn't.
Was there?
Some of them do a bit of work, but the Japs might make them work. Some mightn't let them work, you know.
So the few Victorian blokes, were they second 29th blokes, or were you basically the only one there from the second 29th?
I think, well, there was bloke up that was 1, 2, I think it was 3 from the 29th Battalion. That's about all we knew.
Right.
The rest all New South Wales.
Tent? What'd you sleep in?
No, we went to this big school. We weren't bad off. We had showers and everything there. We were better off than a lot of them that way. We had showers and we laid on the floor. But that sort of place you lay anywhere, you know. There's no beds or anything. I can remember just laying on the sort of a mats.
Pretty hot there, wouldn't it? Was it hot or really
Oh,
hot?
it's tropical weather, you
Tropical
know.
humid sort of
Something like Queensland, I suppose. Tropical weather.
Did you play footy or cricket or do anything?
No, never seen no sport. Well, only one day there was had a holiday or something. We never had a holiday. They were playing baseball. Of course, baseball's their game, you know.
Right.
And there's only a little oval there, and we had guards on the gate, and one bloke threw the ball, and I caught it. Cricket, you see. Oh, geez, they all looked up, and I heard them all mumbling and yarning to their fucking self, you know. I don't know what they were saying, but when I caught this fucking ball, they had got gloves on, you know.
Yeah.
I caught it and threw this fucking ball away, and I never heard no more about it. I thought they were going to kill me on the fucking spot or put me in the fucking game or... Yeah.
So, did you learn much Japanese, like speaking?
Oh, if you're working with him, you sort of know. But I was a bit ignorant. I didn't know much. I wasn't interested, you know. And just putting things upside down, and you know, stacking bullets the wrong way up. You didn't know which is which, you know. There's nothing to tell you which way to go up. It's like a dozen of beer in a carton with no name on it. You wouldn't know whether it's upside down or where you're putting it.
They wouldn't have fed you very much either, would they?
No taco at all. Something cool, you know. I used to have bibs there. I used to play a tune. So I used to sing a tunes one down there, rubbing my guts down there, bloody like a rungs on a bloody banjo. You know.
They'd just give you a bit of rice. That was about it, wasn't it?
That's all. Yeah. No.
So, did you ever see any Red Cross parcels?
No, I never got any of them things. No. Changi got some. They tell me. We never got anything. I think the Japs would take them all to come down
there.
there.
Had warehouses full of them.
All the Japs had all them things that come around, you know.
And did you have? You had malaria, didn't you?
Oh, I used to get every fortnight, and only one Ativan. Only had one Ativan or quinine, you know.
They wouldn't give you any of that, would
They
they?
were rationed down.
Right.
And we had an interpreter with us. And he must have managed to get some in Singapore somewhere. They'd done none of that around. And they'd have this little Japs, 2 or 3 to come along and take... We used to go out in 30s, always 30 in the working party. He'd count us going out, count us coming in, count us again. Then he counted, he's one short. You haven't counted yourself yet. And he'd tell him, you're in it. Yeah, that's right. And he'd start again, and he couldn't count 30. He used to count himself, you know. It's when you get to 29 sometimes, they had to count himself. He's 30. Made it 30 all the time.
Was there any of the Japanese that were okay, like you didn't mind, or?
Well, some had a bit of brains, you know. The rest were just, I don't know, barbaric, you know. But they used to belt their own mob around. I've seen all their own mob. After Christ, I was glad we were in our own army, because on parade, I've seen them on parade and see about a dozen flat out that belt them over the bloody head, and oh Christ, you got no outline were cool there in their mob.
Right.
When you come to think that our army was soft, you know.
Did they pay you to work a day?
Yeah, we got money, but we
You had nothing to spend it on.
Nothing, no good. We used to have a game of cards sometimes and make out we're making money and rolls of money and stupid looking. And
So they gave you money, but you had nothing to spend.
nothing to spend it on, no. Nothing there, no. And another thing, you didn't know your next door, you didn't ask your mate what his name was. You never asked, like, what's your name, Jack? No, you didn't ask. All you wanted back to get a feed, you know.
Right. You'd be hungry all the time, wouldn't you?
All the time you're hungry.
Yeah.
Never thought about women or nothing. Hungry, starving for tucker. Oh, God. We're just talking about that turnout I went to the other night. He said, do you know what? We said, I was on the Burma Road. He said, no, I don't know. One bloke I was working with. He said, it's a cool thing. He said, I can't tell anybody his name. Was it Jack, Bill, Tom, Dick? And I thought to myself, I don't know anybody either.
Right.
No name. Never asked them what their name was. And he worked with him for 3 years.
Yeah. So you only known the blokes from your unit, and that's about it?
Under the bloke we knew before the war, that's all.
Right.
That's all. I didn't, otherwise he wouldn't know what he didn't ask him.
Right.
And why do you think that was?
Well, I think it was because you're starving, you don't worry about nothing. You're nothing about, you can only get a feed,
Look after
you know.
yourself, sort of thing.
Oh, God, something cool. Yeah, oh, well, no, we're pretty healthy that way. We're a bit lucky, you see. We had, well, it's only the malaria that buggered us up. We only lost about a dozen and more blokes there. A couple committed suicide, and then you had some of them the night time keep you awake screaming like nightmares, and they were bugger would turn out in the way, you know. Your mate was screaming all night and you couldn't stop him, like he didn't know, he was hysterical.
Right.
And keep everybody awake, you know. Oh, God, it'd be a terrible noise, you know.
Did the Japs kill anyone there when you were there? While you were there, did the Japs kill anyone?
No, it didn't really kill anybody. We drowned a couple of blokes with petrol drums. There was drums and drums, you got no idea. From here to Bridgewater, everything was on, there's no oil tankers. They used petrol drums. I put 2,000 or 3,000 drums down the whole of the boats and ships, and there's a nut screwed on them, and you'd never sink the boat. Because the drums are all full of air, you know, inside. They can't. That's what they've done for Bellas. They took all the empty drums back, and they carried everything by fuel by boats and drums. And just imagine it, you know. We'd have to have an oil tanker, the Yanks, to keep the petrol up to all these bloody aeroplanes and bombers and other things, you know. When you come to think of it. And we had all these drums stacked up, as high as you could reach, and they start rolling, you know. Once they're rolling and rolling like marbles, rolling around and knock you in the water and drown some of the blokes and got jammed up in between them, and oh, God.
They wouldn't have much work safety ethic.
No, there was no nothing. It was just bullocking and screaming. Speedo from day of dark to 3 years, all we got was Speedo, Tuxan Presento. That means plenty of Beltons. Tuxan this and Tuxan that, you know, that means plenty. Plenty of Speedo. You got to use all them words all the time. I could use Inchy, Nissan, Seago, Javoga, Javachi, count, you know. But you've got to be there with them, the little word, you know. And a lot of them didn't understand themselves, like the Scotchman and the bloody Irishman and the bloody Englishman. You get them together, they're fucking there as bad as what we are, to a point, eh? You can't understand them. Well, they're the same way.
Was there many other, like, were there Poms and stuff on Blackamatty as well?
No, it was probably, we had 2 houses, Australia House and English House. And we never met them blokes in the other house, only for me over that house over there. We never allowed to go to talk to them, we never talked to anybody.
Could have, I mean, the thing is that you could have you got off Blackamatty, like if you bothered to try and escape, was there anywhere to go?
No, there's nowhere to go, and there's no...
Unless you're a bloody good swimmer.
And that's about all. And, I never realised, every day I thought, oh, the bloody war will be over directly. I got that impression in my mind. I didn't seem to worry so much.
Right.
And another thing is, I never had no girlfriend or no wives or babies to look after. The blokes there had just got married and all this. I felt sorry for them fellas. Like that was up against them. Like they had their girlfriends home and they just got married, and some had babies and never seen them, and them things were hard. That's sort of the part of the life, you know. And you see the hard side of it. And I suppose the worst part of it was when they finished the war, they come home, everybody started to howl. They didn't want to go home. They couldn't go home in the state like they're in, you know. There was no cheering and happy and no singing, no nothing. They all stood and looked at one another and didn't know what to make of it, you know.
How did you find out the war was over?
Oh, somebody knew after a while, and somebody said an atomic bomb fell. I said, what sort of a bomb, atomic bomb? Oh, they said it's made out of an atom. had Adam's apple. I said, oh, well, I don't know. All the officers said, don't say nothing about the war's over, just carry on the way you're going
Right.
and let them do what they're going to do.
Right.
And we just went one way and they went the other. That's all it was.
They just
Never seen
disappeared,
them, never seen any yaps since.
Right.
So what? Like was that just one day? It just happened. They
That's
just,
the last day when we stopped there for 2 days, I think, in the camp, and we had an extra bit of lights. We cleaned all the lights up. I think that's all I can remember.
and the Japs just walked away.
They walked away and we walked our way.
Right.
Nobody said nothing. We expecting to get shot, you know.
No.
That's what we were a bit careful of. They thought they might have lined us up and shot us all with a machine gun, you know.
Right. When you got out of there, where'd you go?
Oh, well, they marched me, of course, we've been not far off the wharfs there, and the hospital ship was in. What's the name of that hospital ship again? Menunda. That's the one that got bombed at Darwin.
Right.
And that's the ship I come home on. Not as home, I didn't come as far as Lavillon with that ship. I got in, well, first of all, they want to know where we come from. I said, I'm Victorian, so they got all the Victorians together, and the Queenslanders, and all sort of sorting things out a bit. And they took me down as far as Lavillon.
Right.
And we got out there and we stopped there about a fortnight on this island. That's where the Aussies were fighting there, weren't they, or something?
Right.
That's around there. And before that, though, when we got on this hospital ship, we were fumigated, and we all had crabs, and and Christ knows what we did.
Tinea and all that sort of stuff.
All them things. We had to come through this incubator, naked, get on this boat, and shower and everything, and all this to get on this beautiful, clean boat, And they chucked the pyjamas at me and a coat and put the pyjamas on, and we're on this bloody nice hospital ship. And
Do you remember your first decent fee?
yeah. Well, that was chocolate. That was chocolate. There was. The nurse come out and give us some chocolate, and we only eaten and nicking away at this chocolate, and then we half a glass of beer for start. This is going on, and all we reckon it's all right. And no work. That's what the problem. No work was the best part of it. There was no this work business. God, you could walk around without doing anything. And then we had to go and get some false teeth. We had no teeth. And
Did you have teeth before you went to the war?
yeah, I had teeth. Yeah, I dropped them or smashed them or something. It's only the top. I had a couple on the bottom here.
Right.
And I had to go to the dentist. And it was all sitting in there waiting our turn. And the nurse come in and give me some chocolate. See, I'm all mad on this chocolate. Oh, God, it was beautiful. And I got a mouthful of chocolate, and the bloke, the dentist bloke, come up, Mr. Watts, J.L. Watts, sit in the chair, and we opened my mouth up, and it's full of bloody chocolate. He said, for God's sake, man, what are you doing? He said, this is a dentist shop. This is, for God's sake, next man, please. So I went over there. I couldn't get rid of all this chocolate out of my mouth, and he wants to take the impression. And I've got a mouthful of all this bloody, oh, crikey, I don't know. That was the funniest part, I think, on the trip, I think. That was that.
It would have been good to get in a nice bed and.
Oh, God almighty, yeah.
And how many people would have been on that ship coming home?
Oh, it'd be pretty well, well, it wasn't loaded up. They had to go, I think they were going over to Borneo. They dumped us at Labrador. That'd be, that's a fair way from Singapore.
Yeah.
Coming
so you
down.
didn't see any of the blokes from Changi, in other words. It was just your mob.
Only a few of us, not only other mob was there from Changi or some other place. We didn't know anybody much. We still don't know anybody.
Right.
Hardly bloody recognise them, any.
No, you didn't know anybody at all, and you didn't know your own mates. You didn't know my mates were all shot. There's none of mine. I don't know the reinforcement. I didn't know any of them.
Right.
There's only our own mob before the war. Even after now, the reunion, I don't know anybody. I don't know half the blokes in that photo. There's only about 4 blokes I know.
Where did you find to get back into Australia? Queensland somewhere, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I've been up the river, Brisbane River.
Right.
That's where Archie met me on the river, up the Brisbane River. Young Johns was there, I think. Oh, a couple of Inglewood blokes were there, for Inglewood mob. Yeah, 2 or 3. They're the only blokes we met first.
Jack would have thought you looked like bloody death.
Yeah, he wouldn't know who I was. I wasn't very heavy then, but I put on a couple of stone. See, it took us a month or more to get home, I suppose, to Brisbane. It'd be a month from when we left, I think. And the month, you put on a bloody stone a week, wouldn't you?
Right.
Like a bit of no work. If we hadn't worked, I think we might have been a bit fatter, you know, but the work was killing us. Even if we had good tuck, I think that work would have kept us down to about level weight, you know.
Right.
Working hard like that, you know, carrying bombers all day and shells, and we never got fat even if we had the best of tucker. And then we came back to Bondi Beach in Sydney. And froze to death down there. I remember sitting up getting frozen on what a place from after coming out of the jungle and down to Sydney on that beach. And then we came back into Melbourne then, and by train down to Melbourne.
And who was with you then? Just
Huh?
were you on your own then, or with your other?
No, we had quite a few from there. We sort of got into Sydney Harbour when we got into Bondi. We sort of got together again. A few we knew.
No.
I knew some of them, and then when we got into Melbourne, Spencer Street, they got in these parlour coaches, ex-POWs went on it, and away we went all around Melbourne. And I thought to myself, wouldn't you think they'd take us out and let us get a drink or something instead of this? I said, don't we have the belly full of all this bloody, all this silly rot? But you got no idea what it was like. And that week, we couldn't be bothered with all this caper. Like
They were just parading you.
all parade, yeah, and everybody
go
cheering, everybody's cheering us, you know, and we wish them the hell. Yeah, after we finished this parade with all this POW on these buses, we went out to the old trotting track, the Melbourne Showgrounds.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where we met. Mum and Dad were there. Mum and Dad and Auntie Ellen, Uncle Ellen, my auntie, all the aunties were there. A whole lot of them met down there, you see.
Right.
And that's where I first met them all, from coming back.
Was Nana happy to see you?
Well, I suppose they were in a way,
Right.
but we were that tired and sick of this cable we didn't wish to Christ we were dead at this stage.
Right. And you
Like,
had no say in it.
No say at all, but we weren't full of life, you know. Instead of being happy, we were sad, apparently. Till I got home thinking when they'd like come good after a while, like I realised we were out, you know, realised we were free, you know. I didn't know where we was, you know, I didn't like nothing, didn't like much beer or didn't want nothing, couldn't eat much tucker and for start, and then I got into the tucker after a while. We went to Darley Camp, no, not Darley, yeah, Darley Camp, we got a rehabilitation, and we had a week off or something, and I come home here and Mum thought the war was over. Like, she didn't understand. Mum washed all my clothes, you know, and I'm going back to work, going back Monday morning. I didn't tell her to go back Monday. I said, you can't go, the clothes all hang out in the line, and Christ knows what, and I didn't bother, and I should have gotten to see old Dr. Darby and got a what's name off it. But I know as much as I know now the bloke was going to charge me. I told him I hadn't had no leave for 4.5 years. He'd have bloody there fell over and broke his neck, I think. He didn't know where I come from, I don't think. Young officer.
So when you got back, they said, we're going to fine you.
Well, he didn't say nothing, he just AWL, that's all he said. Didn't ask where I was or nothing. I didn't tell him. I didn't think he was going to book me or nothing. I was down at Watsonia for a start, that's why I got some clothes, I think. All that. I was in Heidelberg for a while. But that's back and it was all in between, you know.
Yeah.
You got to think where you were first. I think I went to Heidelberg first, I think.
You would have got a fair bit of back pay, I suppose, wouldn't you, when you got home?
Yeah, I left Mum's some.
Yeah.
I didn't have much, about 2 and 6pence a week, I think.
Right.
Oh, it might be £200 or £300, I suppose.
Right.
Wouldn't be much. Well, when we got to Inglewood, you couldn't move the station for people, and that time they don't realise that I'm done in there. I could hardly stand up. With all this poking about in Melbourne and all these buses and this, and you got no idea what it was like. When I got into Inglewood, the bloke said, stand up and wave to the kids. I half stood up and fell back in the car. He said, wave out the school children, wave out to them. I got up and waved out to them, all right, and what he wanted me to do was jump up in the air and kick the football or something. That's what I thought I should have to do.
Yeah.
I couldn't do nothing.
Yeah, Mum said she didn't think you were that happy about it.
No, I wasn't happy about it. I like it was a terrible thing. I waited a bit longer until we all right, I think it would have been.
Right.
But then when we had to send off in the town all that, we were all quite happy. We had a couple of beers and cheerful. About 46, I think, and I got out of the army, down like rehabilitation, I think, and all that. And I come home, I think. I come
They
home.
give you a decent suit to leave with today, some
Huh?
clothes to put on your back.
No, we never. No, I come home with ordinary just army slobber, and then I had my motorbike in. I come home. I had a little matchless, and I used to go for a ride on that. That was the first start of life again, you know.
Right.
Go out in the bush on the motorbike.
Right.
That was the start of it.
It took you a while to get accustomed to being home.
Oh, hell yeah, it took you a while. And I couldn't play, they wanted me to play football, and I couldn't run, couldn't kick. And you know, I was a beautiful kick one time. I couldn't mark the ball, I couldn't kick it. No practice for 4 years, for 5 years. And I never seen a football. For 5 years, I was 26 years age. When I was 26, it might have been. 27 to start playing footy again. And I played, because I'm no good at all the first year. The next year we won the premiership. I wasn't too bad the next year, you know.
Right.
But the next year I drank too much beer, so the beer stopped us. No practice. But it
So
wasn't,
you played in the premiership side in 1946, didn't you?
I think it was 46, yeah.
And you didn't play much football again after
No,
that?
I never played after 20. I was 28, I went to Seymour, down to Warragul, I think. I never played any more footy. So I never played much football at all for my career, you know.
Right.
Did you have any girlfriends when you came back after the war?
No, I had my eye on one or two down there, but no good. The beer done buggered the job up.
No. I thought you were too much of a...
Yeah, the beer.
No.
I went down to Bridgewater Flour Mill on the Packers for a couple of months. And I didn't like that much, like locked up inside and flour and all that sort of cable, and I joined the railways. No, I joined the SUC. That was my best job. I started on the SUC and put up all these posts around here and tie ropes, digging shafts to put the tie ropes up. And I liked that job. And I went to get out one dinner time and I fell back and jammed me bloody knee and buggered my knee up. And I never played, I gave the job away after that.
Right.
What for, I don't know. That's the job, I should have stopped that.
You went to the end of joined the railways in about 1951 or something, was it? 1950, 51 or something like that?
I think it was, yeah, joined the railways. All on, that was another hard job, all relaying, all heavy work, sleepers and rails and God knows what.
You were how far up? Did you go into state with that job, or was it all in Victoria?
No, all in Victoria.
You would have gone up as far as Mildura?
No, well, no, we went up on the Mildura line up as far as Sanana the other way, but then I went mostly down Gippsland. We'd built that electrification from Dandenong to Twelgan.
Right.
We electrified that track,
Right.
from Carlton Briquettes to Melbourne.
Right.
Of course, then they cut all the briquettes out and they made factories in Melbourne and made their own electricity in Melbourne. So they done it that way, you know, and they pulled it all down, they told me.
Where'd you normally stay in hotels and things, did you? When you
No, we had stopped on the carriages, railway carriages.
Oh, you camped in Bort one time, I remember that.
Camped bought up there. We had sometimes we had bug huts, and I had my own carriage on the railways. My own carriage. I fixed it up myself. I done a good job. I put the wardrobe, shifted everything around where I wanted it. You know, open so I could open both doors up and let the wind blow through.
Right.
And I had a good setup. And I had a gas stove and electric blanket, and I had everything I wanted in that hut. Yet I lived in a small compartment.
Did you ever, once you got back to Australia after the war, did you ever think about going back for a look?
No, I never went my mind even there. I went down to all these blokes, we all been back there, up the Burma Road and some other place, and Christ, I haven't been out of Inglewood. I said, I haven't. Oh, you want to go up, you should have gone up there and seen such and such as this. And I said, yes, but I said, yeah, but you're married, aren't you? He said, yeah. I said, the old woman called you up there, that's all. I said, you only went with the old woman, that's what took you away. You wouldn't have gone at all if you were single. You wouldn't be interested.
Right.
All married blokes go, take their wives and keep families with them.
Right.
That's how they get up them places.
Right.
See, I had no family, no kids, no wife, no nothing.
You're not really interested in seeing it?
No, I wasn't interested. But I think if you had a wife, she might have said, oh, we'll go for a trip, Jim, up to Singapore, or fly over there. Well, you'd have gone with somebody. That's a stopped you. That's the way I look at it.
No. You still think that you'd like to go now?
Well, I like to go on, but you're too old now. You can't get around, you know.
No.
And I might go down to Anzac March one of these years there again. But you're getting older all the time, you know. And
Do you still think about the war much now?
no,
Getting nightmares,
sometimes you do a little bit, you know. You think about it sometimes a little bit, you know.
But it doesn't worry you too much?
No, I don't think it worries me, you know.
No.
Sometimes people ask you, but you don't know much, you see. You don't know anybody. They think you should know thousands, but you don't know anybody.
No.
You only know your own mates and they're all gone.
Yeah.
You don't know the reinforcements.
No.
That's the hard part of it.
Do you know how many of the second 29th actually came back from the war itself?
I know when we had the march down at Melbourne, When we first come back, I don't think we had any more than about 200 or 300.
Mm.
And now there's only, we can't form fours.
No.
Looking back at it, if you had your life over, would you go to war again?
No, well, yeah, I never regretted it, I don't think. Not the situation we're in, you know. But as you asked me now,
you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, weren't you? Really, it was bad.
Yeah,
organised.
bad organised, and Singapore. Well, I think it was better. You could take it off. You could take it back again. Rather, whoever held it didn't want it. Like, you could take it off the Japs. Let them have it first, and then go and take it back off them again.
Right.
We couldn't hold it because we had no airplanes, no ships.
Right.
And after the Japs had it, it was no good to them either. What was the good of Singapore to them? It was no good to them.
Did you get a bit of malaria after the war?
No, I never got any more. You do get effects of it, I think. Like sometimes you get the cold shivers and, you know, and that could be a affection of it. But I never get none of them things, no, nothing wrong.
When did you retire? You finished on the railway.
Right on 60. I never even told them I was going. I just said, the day I was 60, I went straight down to Spencer Street and put my name in, finished the job.
Right.
I never got no send-off or nothing after 31 years on the job.
Right.
Yeah. I met that many blokes in camps and different shifts and paid them, and there's one timekeeper, we give him 6 send-offs. And every time I give him a send-off, I go to a camp and he'd be back in there timekeeping. So I give him another send-off. I bought him pencils and watches, and he's a rich man when he left the job. I enjoyed retiring. I thought it was all right. I thought, well, see, I've on, what's this, 22 years I've retired. And I thought it was all right, that. And I bought the little motorbike. And I went down, what did I do? I went down to get, that's right, I bought that bike, I went down to get my licence. And I passed all the exams in the police station, you know, it takes away what you do, what part of the car you're going to pass, or on the right-hand side, or all this. That was all right, so he gives me my licence. He said, put it away and carry it always with you, this licence, you know. Right. So I put it in the saddlebag of my bike, amongst the spanners and that, this licence, so the bike was always on the bike. This went on for about 6 or 7 years, 8 years this went on. And finally, I come to the conclusion I never had a licence for motorbike, I had a licence for motor car. After all that. So I decided to chuck the bike away, give it to Bonza and go and get a truck. And use the licence for the motor truck. That's the way it went.
So the licence has got a car licence on it though?
It's got other than a motorcycle bit on it. Only a car licence, other than no motorcycle. And I'm driving the motorbike around for 8 years with no licence.
Yeah, well, it's pretty good that all of you,
yeah,
all the Wattses are still
going, isn't it, to a point?
Either in port or...
That's right, wherever we may be.
No.